gonna be totally raw, okay? I'm like, sorry. Thank you for tuning in to my channel. Alright. Channel, basically. Alright. One of Tony's exercises is, why are you here? Okay? He's basically, why did you make your decision to attend this event? What are you committed to getting out of this experience? And not only for yourself, but for those you care about. Why are you really here? Like, this gets crazy, actually. Are you ready for it? Get ready. Because I did not want to be here any longer is why I was attending the UPW, Unleash the Power Within. I made the decision because I felt most of my life that he would be the one that helped me. I said it probably from 2014 to now that he did save my life. And I didn't even know what he was about. I've repeated this many times. Like, I didn't know, honestly. I just knew somehow he knew something, you know? And I wanted to learn that. Out of all the life coaches, like, I have people reaching out to me now. I'm just like, I learned from the best of the best. All right, we're the best. Like, he's got the formula. You know, there's others that he learned from. They have formulas, obviously. But he's the one really working it out and getting others now. You know, it's kind of like they passed the torch to him, and now he's reaching to the others so we can teach you. Okay, anyway, here we go. To make the world a better place. Like, it's not silly if, you know, meditation works for people. It does. Calm their nervous system and helps. You know, people do yoga. Like, these aren't made up things. It does help. It's you figuring out whatever helps you. Okay, back to my story. Yeah. I always said, too, if I could work with anyone, if I had money, I would definitely be working with Tony Robbins. That's all I said. Also, that might have been the thing. Alright. So after my fire happened, I got a tattoo that says, your life will never be the same, Marilyn Manson, because he's a huge part of my life. I love Marilyn Manson because he taught me to be myself. Like, when I was younger and I would dress goth and I felt so much like me, I was actually happier. But I would say I got that persona of being depressed. You know, I didn't actually know then. It was just like something I identified with. But, you know, we all relate to that at some point in our lives, even if we don't understand it. You know, it's the balance. And I don't care what anybody says about these two individuals that I'm talking about. Like, whatever your opinions are, it doesn't matter. This is just how it somehow infected my life. Infected. Whatever, both. It helped me become who I was then, you know? My parents didn't care that I dressed weird. Like, you know, I was accepted. I had those people. And, you know, when they passed away, I feel like I lost that. Like, it wasn't there anymore. I suddenly, like, maybe because they weren't there to support me and I had no one else, and I don't know, I just felt like I became more or less like me. Even though each of those, like, now here's where it gets interesting. So each of my little eras, you know, I had like a vintage era. You know, that was a little after my one boyfriend that I dated, Ed. So I don't know, you know, some things changed. And that, I still felt like I was myself then too. You know, each part of it was like sort of myself in some way. Just this darker version is how I feel better like myself. Like, I want to be weird. Okay, anyway. Yeah, like, in my goth days, I would, like, stand up on a box and be dancing in front of people at the goth clubs. Like, I was, like, known as the glow girl. Like, nowadays, I don't even know if I could do that without having, like, a panic attack. Alright. I mean, I thought this was interesting, that I lost, you know, I was different characters in my life, definitely. Like, different, music tastes. I was, like, into freak folk for a while, which, you know, it all was part of me. But if you don't know who Cindy Sherman is, you know, she was best known for, like, dressing up in her photography as herself and taking the photos. And my spiritual distortion page, you know, that is what I'm doing. And I somehow want to incorporate that all together. I think that's why I'm having a little problem starting this, but now I'm starting it, so. And now I want to figure out how to get spiritual distortion up in this also, because we're the same. Alright. Anyways, Cindy Sherman, She acts as a model, photographer, director. She uses elaborate costumes and wigs and makeup, prosthetics. And I'm into that. Like, that's my thing. I love doing that. And I feel like each of those characters actually have little mini stories in my head. So maybe I should make them be characters of some sort. Oh my god, that's such a good idea, right? Hey, Lady Pink is one of my first characters. Really. So after my fire, I got this tattoo, Your Life Will Never Be the Same, because of Marilyn Manson. Reminding myself that nothing is ever the same. I'll never have my pets again. I'll never have that apartment again. Things change. Like, nothing is ever the same. And I think once we know that, even every experience, nothing is ever the same, even though, sometimes that pattern does repeat itself, but it doesn't have to. All right. So 8 years later, fast forward, I emailed Tony Robbins. I don't even know why. And I got a link to UPW, and I had no idea what it was at all. And what do you know? In the beginning, they're chanting, "Life will never be the same." And it's like a background sign, all this stuff. Like, tell me, that is a big sign. The chances of that. Marilyn Manson, 8 years ago, I did that just as a reminder of that. And then now, fast forward 8 years later, when I'm finally coming into the full circle of everything, what is it? Tony Robbins saying that. And he was talking about going through his class, his experience, his immersive experience, After that, if you actually follow through with it and you're connected with it, and it's so weird too, because it's movement, but that's physiology, how you handle yourself, and being excited and doing that is actually like an amazing thing. We did the Dickens process, which goes through like every deep, sad emotion, and it's like raw, it's hard when you think of every little thing. Like, it gets to the point where you're like, you can't even cry because it's too much. It's like, anyway. And then you have to get to that, you don't want to live like that for 10 years, 20 years. Imagine your whole life being in that emotion all the time. And that snaps you right out. I'd never thought about that really, but if I kept living, I wouldn't even have made it, honestly. In my situation, when I thought about that, I would have never made it past 5 more years of this, 10 more years. Like, no way. So whatever got zapped in my brain, and now I'm explaining this, and it's all connecting the dots to, I think, it goes back. I am here basically because I'm here at that event. I was at that event because I think it was simply meant to happen in that way, and I already knew from the past for some reason. For some reason, my past self told my future self exactly, I am intuitive. Somehow it gave me that clue, and I really honestly think that was a clue. There's no way. So life is happening for me, and I'm here because this is all connected to help me be a force to teach others this lesson. These are my experiences on how to not suffer that I've learned from Tony, and my own intuition mixed exactly how the way he wanted us to teach it is be our true selves. We just need to mimic him for a second, use those tools and resources that he teaches us, and pass them forward. I'm giving you the push. Tag. Do something you're afraid of. Start a new hobby. Do something. Create something. Or at least focus on this. Why are you here? You need to have a why. And you're like, I don't know my purpose. But you at least need a why you're here. Why do you feel you are here? Follow your heart. Why are you really here on this earth? And what do you want to do to help care for others in some way, or teach them, or help them? Kindness matters. All right, I'm done. I'm done my speech. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Bye.